Good evening, I'm John Yang. Former First Lady Rosalynn Carter has died at the Carter's home in Plains, Georgia. In May, Mrs. Carter disclosed she had been diagnosed with dementia, and just Friday it was announced that she had moved into hospice care alongside former President Jimmy Carter, her husband of 77 years. In a statement tonight, Mr. Carter said his wife was his equal partner in everything he ever accomplished. Judy Woodruff covered the Carters both in Georgia and in the White House, and she has this remembrance.
Whether she was fighting disease in a foreign land, serving at the White House, or enjoying home in Plains, Georgia, Rosalynn Carter led a life of advocacy. She reflected on it all in 2014 at a forum in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
There's so much a First Lady can do, and I don't think there'll ever be another First Lady who just pours tea and acts as hostess in the White House, as some in the past have done.
Born Eleanor Rosalynn Smith, she was the daughter of an auto mechanic and a dressmaker. She grew up next door to the Carters in Plains, Georgia, and eventually married the future president in 1946.
The day we got married, I thought we were going to have an adventuresome, happy life. It turned out my life with Jimmy Carter has been more adventuresome than I ever dreamed it would be.
The couple had 3 sons and a daughter, Amy, who became the first young child to live at the White House since the Kennedy years. Before starting his road to Washington, Jimmy Carter served in the Navy, ran a peanut farm, spent 4 years as a state senator, and followed that with a term as governor of Georgia. Then came the race for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1976.
People ask me every day, how can you stand for your husband to be in politics and everybody know everything you do? And I just tell them that we were born and raised and still live in Plains, Georgia. It has a population of 683, and everybody has always known everything I did.
The Carters claimed the nomination at the Democratic National Convention that July. And as the fall campaign geared up, Mrs. Carter sat down with Jim Lehrer and Robin McNeil, making the case for her husband.
When you scrimp and save like we did to build up a business and then get into government, it's unbelievable the waste and extravagance. That's what I think that Jimmy can cut out. And the reason I think he can do it, and this is what I hope the American people will understand, is that he has no obligations. It's the first time that we have had a chance to elect a president with no strings attached. You can just do exactly what's right for the people.
That November, Jimmy Carter narrowly defeated Republican incumbent Gerald Ford, who had become president when Richard Nixon resigned.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
2 months later, the nation's 39th president was sworn in, with Rosalynn by his side. The new First Lady became a leading advocate for the mentally ill as honorary chair of the President's Commission on Mental Health. She also served as one of her husband's closest advisors, at times representing him in meetings with foreign dignitaries, and often sitting in on cabinet meetings, as she recalled in that 2014 forum.
Because I had campaigned, I knew all the issues. I had told people I was going to, work on issues. And I was I was traveling out in the countryside, having press conferences, so I had to know what was going on. And so one day in February, he said, why don't you come to the cabinet meetings, then you'll know why we do things. Well, that was a great invitation. I went every time I didn't have a conflict, and I tried not to have conflicts.
But the Carter presidency was marred by the Iran hostage crisis and a stagnant economy with double-digit inflation. And that paved the way for a landslide loss to Republican Ronald Reagan in 1980. Still, though they left Washington, they continued their advocacy through the Carter Center in Atlanta. Mrs. Carter discussed its inception with the NewsHour's Charlayne Hunter-Gault in 1995.
You realize when you leave the White House that you still have the resources. Anybody in the world will help you with anything if you ask them. Any expert on any issue will help you with anything because Jimmy was president. What do you do with that? I mean, we pondered that a lot. And then the Carter Center really developed
even beyond our wildest expectations.
This is a magic net.
The center gained renown for bringing humanitarian aid and fighting disease, including the parasitic guinea worm in remote, impoverished parts of the world. The couple also traveled the globe trying to resolve international conflicts, as well as monitoring national elections in 36 countries over the years. And starting in 1984, they volunteered with Habitat for Humanity to build homes for needy families both in the U.S. and in more than a dozen foreign countries. Along the way, the former First Lady pursued her own longtime interests, especially mental health.
Mental illnesses can be diagnosed, they can be treated effectively, and the overwhelming majority can lead normal lives, living at home, working, going to school. And it's just a tragedy when people suffer and don't get help.
In 2015, when the former president announced he had cancer, he paid tribute to the woman he had shared his life with.
The best thing I ever did was marrying Rosalind. That's the pinnacle of my life. And we've had 69 years together. And so that's the best thing that happened to me.
Through it all, they always stayed connected to Plains, where Rosalind Carter remained active in her own community until the end of her life.
Rosalind Carter was 96 years old.